Hey everybody, it's Matt Fury from Avid here at Sundance 2020 once again with a really cool story to bring to you. I'm here with editor Lindsay Armstrong. She's here with the short film Baldwin Beauty. Lindsay, tell us a little bit about the film.
Baldwin Beauty is about a girl that just moves to the Baldwin Hills, and she doesn't really know anyone. She'd come from a breakup, so she's in this transitional period, and she's a hairstylist. So she uses this app, and she gets sent to this girl's house, and there's kind of a party going on, and there's this whole group of women, and all sorts of different personalities. They're having fun, dancing around. And it's kind of slice of life in the Baldwin Hills about this transplant coming in and, while going on this new job, like learning she can find new friends and kind of fit into another community. So I think there's a lot of transplants in LA, so I think it's kind of relatable in that way and how you just find your community and how that happens.
So that's a pretty rich plot for what's considered a short film. How did you condense all that into roughly 10 minutes?
Well, I'm just talking a lot, so that's probably making it sound longer than it is. It's, it's pretty slice of life. Like, we see her go over to this woman's house and interact with all the girls there, and you're just kind of there for the party with them and get to know them just as she's getting to know them. And there's a cool montage in there. We get to see her styling hair, and it's really cool. But yeah, it all fits in that amount of time, but then you're ready for more and to hang out with that group a little bit more.
So how did you find this project?
Temby Banks, the director, is a good friend of mine. We went to USC together in the MFA program, and we've just been working on a few things together. I've cut a few projects for her, so once she had this project going, she brought me on board, and I was very grateful for that because it was actually my first comedy that I've ever cut, and so that was really fun, and the performances were awesome, and I got to sit there and just laugh at these actors because they were all really comedic actors. So it was a really fun experience and rewarding to then sit in an audience and hear people laugh because you're always afraid, about that.
So even really senior editors, really seasoned editors will talk about there's a little bit of fear on their part about cutting comedy because they feel like that's the toughest thing to cut. Did you find it was challenging to try and just get the right tone and the right, finding the humor within the edits? Because just a few frames in either direction and that joke's not as funny anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, the performances really helped that a lot because I just tried to keep in mind, when I would see a performance and it would make me laugh, I would take note of that and then just try to remember my first impression of all the dailies and what really stood out to me. And then, with the timing, I don't know, I just kind of went from gut of what made me laugh and how I thought it needed to move from character to character. And then Temby is really awesome and has a really good sense of comedic timing, so she directed it well. And then when we got to work together, we were able to make that timing just right. So, yeah.
So give me an idea of what the production and post-production workflow was like.
So they shot for 2 days, and then I was the assistant editor as well. So they had a DIT on set, and then I got the footage on a drive, and then I brought it into Avid, transcoded, then just worked from there, and then I linked back to RAW, for color. So it was smooth for me. It was good experience, yeah.
You make it all sound pretty easy. You casually mentioned meeting the director at USC, big film school. People tend to think about film school as an opportunity to really learn the tools, which I'm sure you did. But what's the X factor about film school? People look at it like, well, media composer is really cheap or free if I want to get the media composer first, so I don't need to go to a film school to get access to the tools. But there's something a lot more valuable you can probably learn at film school. Tell us a little bit about just the relationship building and the networking and things like that.
Yeah, it was really great for that, for me. Most of my, I moved out here without really knowing anyone, and so most of my best friends now who are out in LA are my friends from film school, and my class from USC was really kind and collaborative and supportive, and so I feel like we really all root for each other. And just kind of getting there, and I pretty much knew right away that I wanted to edit and be an editor, so it was nice to build relationships and be that person that people could come to. And, there's a lot of people who want to be writer directors, so it can be a good place to be when you don't want to do that and you want to.
Complimentary people.
Yeah, but those relationships are just really important, and even kind of when you're just starting out and struggling a little, I have a network of female editors actually, and we have this text chain and we text each other every day. We all went to USC together and different classes actually, but you kind of meet all the range of classmates when you're there. But we text each other, support each other, tell each other about jobs, and if we're having some technical issue, we'll write, and one of us has dealt with it, so that network has just made me feel a lot more comfortable out in LA, and it's just nice to have people that have your back, and you can find out resources through them and all of that.
So I know, it's still relatively early on in your career, even though you're here at Sundance with a film, which is amazing. Any advice you'd have for, somebody just starting out or just leaving film school like you did just a few years back?
Yeah, what I always like to tell people is to find the shows that you love and editors that you really admire, and try to reach out to them. When I was at USC, I used LinkedIn a lot. I don't know how much people use it now, but I used it and would I wrote to an editor of my favorite show that was on at the time, and he wrote back to me, let me go to the cutting room, let me go on set, and was an awesome mentor. And I know when people reach out to me, because I did that, I always will meet up with them and have coffee and give advice. So find people that you want to meet with, and usually, especially if you want to be an editor, I feel like editors really like to help other people out, and editors like getting recognition and, people knowing who they are and wanting, to grow in the industry. So I would say try to reach out to people you admire, and not just editors, assistant editors too, because you learn a lot, and assistant editors are always hearing about jobs too, So I would say reach out to those people and try and meet them and pick their brain, and that just expands your network and helps out.
Well, Lindsay, that's great advice. We appreciate you stopping by to talk to us about the film today. The film is Baldwin Beauty. It's here in the Shorts program at Sundance 2020. Stay tuned to the Avid social channels for more great stories like Lindsay's. We'll be bringing them to you every day.